Hello everyone and welcome to Girlfriend Quest. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Alexis Sarah, and I'm here today to do some hashtag propaganda, but not for good shit like leftist stuff. I'm just going to talk about the 20 characters, the only 20 characters that are valid to vote for and Choose Your Legends for on the female side. That's not specifically listed. There are the only 20 valid characters, but someone's got to vote due to their gender binary shit. Someone's going to vote for that. There'll be characters here that might be described by some as one gender or another. I will decide people's gender in this video, and if you comment otherwise, I'll block you. Easy. So anyway, I'm just going to talk about which characters I want in the game and a little bit about what I think they would do if they won Choose Your Legends, which most of them won't. Let's just be real. Edelgard's going to win, or Edelgard's going to be number 2, because the Edelgard haters will see her winning and then all switch to voting for someone they didn't like. But just to spite Edelgard, and she'll be number 2. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. And on the male side, it could be either the Three Houses Lords or Marth. There's 3 viable options. But let's pretend for a minute that people were gonna vote for anyone else. Except I will have Edelgard on this list. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway, let's get going. So I did this again last year, so if you want to watch that, you can go ahead and watch it. I'll try to link it in the description or something. And I don't think I'll be doing the thing where I made the custom characters and stuff, because it was just without actually being able to lay out the skills and stuff. So unless I do that too, I probably just won't make fake versions of the units. I just kind of have ideas of how their stats will be and how their stuff will be. So yeah, anyway, that's enough preamble. Let's just get to the list. So first up here on this top 20 list, we got Alencia, Queen of Hope. I came up with names for all of them. Anyway, so this is Queen Alencia from Radiant Dawn, instead of Alencia that we have already, which is Alencia from Path of Radiance. Last time I didn't pick any variants of characters. This time there is going to be variants, because the game's progressed in a way that I can't deny variants are just going to exist. So I might as well pick the characters I like as variants too. So yeah, so Alencia as a staff flyer, I think that's something I really want to see. I've been wanting to see it. I keep hoping that it would happen as a legendary hero, but it just hasn't happened. So maybe she could happen to be, a lance flyer. A staff flyer in Choose Your Legend. I think it'd be great. She'd probably have dazzling staff, wrathful staff, but dazzling on the staff, wrathful and B. And one of the newer skills that can actually go on flyers in her A slot. But I think for a staff skill, I think that an Alencia that can provide solid buffs naturally from healing would make sense. Since she's the big thing in Radiant Dawn is her standoff protecting her castle with a bunch of units. So I think maybe something that helps fortify the team, regardless of their movement type, would be pretty interesting, and kind of help reference that, her bolstering her allies. Or it could be a brave staff with dazzling. That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty deadly. I definitely think that would be interesting too. To match Armidi's style. Okay, so Zane. Zane is from Path of Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon, and they are a shapeshifter. And I think that the way that they should come into this game is they just turn into a foe's unit with the highest BST, and they get all their skills except for their Sacred Seal. Obviously, it wouldn't make it the best unit, but for PvE content, you get some characters with inflated stats, so technically Zane could be a stronger character than you could possibly have. And that would be pretty nifty, I think. So yeah, I think that would be an interesting little gimmick. It would obviously be a gimmick and hard to actually use, but I think that they would be really fun there. So Enna from Path of Radiance or Radiant Dawn, it doesn't really matter to me, as a red dragon armor. And I think that basically she would have like a breath that like puts a tactive buff on the team. Like when it's when it goes off, it goes and gives like a couple of stats, like dual tactics to within 2 spaces if you have the same conditions for like a tactic skill. Since she's like a tactician, I think that would just be a neat little way to do it. And I think and I decided this should be an armor because her position in Path of Radiance, where she's like a boss character, I think that puts you in a suitable position to fight. Last year, I think I said that she'd be like have a healing breath, which I think would also be neat. Chris, Shadow's Hand, Axe Infantry. Chris is the playable protag in Fire Emblem, New Mystery of the Fire Emblem on DS. And I decided an axe because all our lords have swords, and Chris could be any class, so why not make them an axe unit? It's just a little bit rarer, and that way that Chris could actually be on a team with Marth, which would be one of the big points, is to have her be able to be on the team of her boss. And I think that she would basically double bonuses on herself during combat. Since Marth is a buffing character, I think that I would like to design Chris basically to work really well with Marth. Not because I ship it, because I don't. I'm lesbian. I ship Chris since it's me with a girl, Katrina. Yeah, it's Katrina. That's who I like. The tactician girl that's already in the game. Anyway, I think that giving her a bonus doubler would be dope, and maybe like a signature distant counter type skill on her B slot, like something that does DC for the people. And by the time that this character would come out, distant counter might be power creeps, so maybe like add a guard effect or something on it. I'm impressed by the power creep in this game. So Hilda, I'd love to see adult Hilda in the game. Hilda's one of my favorite characters and a lot of people's favorite characters in Three Houses. I definitely think that giving her like her same axe that she already has, but new name, like Crimson, for like the hypothetical if she could have been recruited in the Crimson Flower route. It's a brave hero, so it's different. And she'd be an axe armor. It makes sense. She has the armor growths. I think a lot of people make her an armor unit, except that armors don't have the mobility. So I think eventually everyone just makes everyone a flyer or a horsey. But yeah, like giving her like basically the same effect, but maybe like just a little bit stronger than her kit effect, or giving her like a signature B or C or A skill that just helps her like deal with it. Like maybe like a Sylvain shield, like a nullifies effective against armor with an extra effect would be pretty nifty. Like plus a solo skill or plus a bond skill, or if was buffed by another unit skill, like something like that. Khaleel, beauty spells, red tome infantry. So I think she should have bolting. Khaleel is from Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance, and Radiant Dawn. She's like a beauty girl, and she's really fun. I think she's just like funny and charming and sweet. She's very full of herself, and I think that that's a fun type of character. So I definitely think she would be neat to have in the game, and I think that like her bolting could have like be the first skill to have 3 range on like the hit. Like I think that would be very interesting, and it would be something new. Whether it can attack at 2 and 3 range, or if it could just attack at 3, I think it would set her up nicely to be doing something different. I don't think she'd need any more than that to be like a viable gimmick. Then Rinka. I really like Rinka, and in the game, and I didn't put Flavia on the list, but like I definitely would like some more of the darker skinned characters to get into the game. Fire Emblem Heroes definitely has been not including those characters in the game yet. And I think that Rinka would be very cool. She was very high up in terms of like characters that didn't have a variant in the game. And I think that Rinka with just a cool axe that's just like very aggressive, like Death Blow 4 built into an axe, would be really neat. And maybe it like hits you on your res or physical side, since like Oni Chiefs are magic and axe. So I think it would be interesting if it just hit like whatever your lower defensive stat was. Yeah. Okay, so Kaizia. She is a green beast infantry Laguz. Kazuya is a trans girl inside of Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. It's something that got censored in the English translation, so if you're watching it, chances are you didn't know that she's a trans girl. But that's most definitely the intention of the creators, even if it wasn't the best worded. So I think that, you know, a kid, like having her in the game would be really dope, especially if they gender her properly and do all that other stuff. And I think that it would be cool to have her kind of have like a fitting skill for her personality. Like maybe when she's with people, she's like next to a unit, she's like better at defenses, and when she's like solo, she's better at attack. I think that would be really interesting, like for like a claw type skill. Basically, it gives you a solo or a bond, but those affect different stats, and it allows you to like go in attack, then move a unit behind her, and now you're buffing your defenses instead. I think that would be really interesting, and I think that would be neat, and I'd like it in the game, please. So Rhea, spoilers for Fire Emblem Three Houses in this video, if you haven't beat any of the paths, so don't watch, or I guess be spoiled, and you might have already been spoiled because the internet is full of pictures, especially if you follow me. I retweet Fire Emblem shit all the time. But yeah, Rhea as a green dragon unit would be great, and I noted her name was Mama's Girl. I just want to note that because I think it's funny for a title. She is a character that I don't like, but I would like to see in the game. I'd love to fight her as a Grand Hero battle unit, but, you know, Brave Hero's good too. And I definitely think that she would have a very aggressive weapon, and she'd be in a very aggressive character. You know, despite, like, looking like a very soft nun. I'd love if her special had her punch. Like, not in dragon form. I'd like it just... Like, when she pops a special, she, like, turns from dragon to a human and punches you in the face. That would be dope. Give that to me, please. And I don't really care what her abilities do. I just want her to punch someone. That's all. Vika. And I think that she's just, like, the only female Raven Laguz, and she's one of 2 Raven Laguz in the series. She is a green. I think green would be a great color because that would, you know, conflict with Navarre. And I think that that's a color that has less female characters in it. In terms of beast units, which is also the reason I put Kazuya as a green, but also just because she's like a tiger, and we already have a blue one. And just like that, we already have a blue Raven. So I think Vika being contrasted by being green, like being the effective against color, against the king for people would be funny and fun, especially because she doesn't like obey him. She's not part of the Raven Laguz society. She is enslaved and broke out and helps other slaves get free. She works with Laguz Liberation people, which is awesome. I think that that makes her a very cool character that does something like very unique. I love all the Liberation Squad to get in, but she's the one I want the most. And I think that having an effective against infantry weapon would be good, like, you know, to, like, you know, get them humans. And I think that if, I think I'd love her to have, like, a special that, like, removes debuffs, status effects, and stuff. So when she pops it off, it's like Moonbow, but, which is, like, you know, does half of your defenses, and then it, like, like, removes all the debuffs. Dorothea. Now, Dorothea is the only dancer I put on this list. Or at least, you know, I intend to be a brave dancer, or like, I think that Dorothea has a good shot at being #1 or #2 in Choose Your Legends. So, She's not in the game yet. Plus, she's like the most popular girl in the game. I think she has a very, very good shot at being number 1 in the female division or number 2. Just like I think Claude will probably be number 1 in the male division. With Marth as number 2 and Dimitri at like number 3 or 4. But I think that Dorothea would have, like, I think that what I'd really like at Dorothea is to do some passive healing while having like special cooldown -1 as like a green tome dancer. So I think like having her just do a lot of utility kind of really fits the character, and I think it would be a really neat addition to the character, to the game. Like we had healing dancers before, it was on the first performing arts banner. I think that this would need to do a lot more HP healing, like a significant amount more to be worth it. Like she needs to be able to replace the healer in a substantial way without needing like Breath of Life or anything. And with Breath of Life, she'll only be better. Yeah, but I think that would be a really neat and interesting skill set, and obviously she could just dance. And giving her special cooldown -1 would help her like fire off specials to make her more worth it, even if her stats weren't quite there. Jill, she should have already been in the game. It's been impressive how long they've put her off. She's the most voted for female character that's not yet in the game in any capacity. And she is cool. I think she should have this encounter built into her weapon and nullify if active against effects. She should be an axe flyer. And she should have something that helps her against Legoose, since she has the Legoose guard in the games. I really like Jill because she has such great character growth. And she's just a really cool character. I guess I didn't really give reasons for Dorothea. I like Dorothea because she's bi and she's cute and she's funny. There. Yeah, Jill's neat. And I definitely would like to see her in. And I love flyers, so the more flyers, the merrier. Catherine. I'd like to see Catherine show up as a sword cav and not a sword infantry, which it makes more sense that she'd be a sword infantry, but I am just so tired of sword infantry units. I want Catherine. I don't want her as a sword infantry. I want Shamir and Catherine to show up as cavalry units and, you know, just be really strong, like, cavalry units. I love them as a duo unit, too. I'll get to Shamir later. You know, Catherine is, like, a darker skinned woman. She's, like, really cool. She has an ending with Rhea as her default ending on most paths. Plus, she has a good ending with Shamir. You know, she's a fairly queer character that is written to have straight possibility because the writers are cowards. And I think she should be, again, effective against dragons and armors and have a brave effect, which is really strong. But it's kind of what Thunderbrand already does. So I think that just, like, you know, matching her weapon is what you should do. And she would obviously have a special that matches her signature skill, which I think it's about time we finally get, like, a speed-based damage-dealing skill. So, like, something like that would be really neat and a really strong way to do, like, a bunch of bonus damage. Lucia. I like to see her, again, I just am thinking outside the box as a sword flyer. She doesn't fly on any horse, like, on anything in the games. It's not even a possibility, but, you know, she grew up with Alencia. Someone probably helped her learn how to Pegasus ride, and it was probably her. I think that she should have an effect that nullifies all bonuses on foes, and she should gain the last bonuses, so kind of matching her parity skill, only, like, making it legit, like, viable for the game. Like, if it just nullified both characters' buffs like it does in the game, it would be nothing, unless she was just significantly better than everyone else. But I think that if it, like, gave you their buffs and negated their buffs, like, it would be a very cool and interesting skill. It still depended on the enemy, but would at least, like, at the very least, it nullifies buffs. Lucia is Alencia's girlfriend. I really love her, and she's just one of my favorite characters in Fire Emblem design-wise. I really want her in the game. I don't want more sword infantry, so sword flyer would do. Limstella is a non-binary morph from Fire Emblem Blazing Sword. aka Fire Emblem GBA. And I think that it's about time that we got a new panic unit. Just make them a red tome. Give them Omni Panic, like give them just like the ability to put every panic debuff on you. I mean every ploy debuff on you. And just like hit you with all the ploys with their high res and then like destroy you. I think that would be really neat. Shamir. Shamir is probably my favorite Fire Emblem Three Houses character that you can't marry as a girl. She's dope. She's really cool. I wish that she could, like, she's super queer. I don't know why they don't let her marry you as a girl. She's like super gay for Catherine. I don't know. It's a waste. She has the fucking gayest haircut. I don't know. Anyway, I think she should have the Inexhaustible, which is a weapon in the game, which gives her brave damage and then brave weapon plus maybe like true damage to make it better than a brave weapon because we're at the point that we've power creeped brave weapons that are like just full like 16 might brave weapon. Just go ham. Forest. She is a trans girl from Fire Emblem Fates. She's a trans lesbian. She only marries girls. And she has a skill that makes her like good against men because she doesn't like them. So yeah. I think that she should have something that gives like miracle status to a unit. I think that would be a very cool way to do it. And I think she should be a staff flyer. Because a staff infantry is interesting, but I think that a staff flyer would be cute, especially as a variant. Like I'd like normal Troubadour, Fortis to be in the game, but I'd also like her like on a Pegasus Knight because they're associated with femininity in the series. And I think that like the miracle status would help match the Bifrost, which is the top weapon in the staff category in Fates, which lets you revive a unit. So giving someone like Miracle is kind of like the equivalent of doing that. And I think the Miracle could either be like a big buff to everyone within like a small amount of spaces when she triggers it, a special, or it could be, and then that would like, so just one turn, this status would go away. So she'd have to trigger her thing all the time to keep the Miracle status up. Or like it could be, like it just affects one character, it gives them Miracle, and it would be very strong, but it could be pretty good. I don't know. Now, we're here. Edelgard. Axe Armor, I think she's going to be the person who wins it, or number 2, like I said. I think she should have inbuilt Special Spiral in her weapon. And that she should have built-in armor boots into her weapon too. I think she should be fucking dope, because she's a very, very popular character. And even if you don't like her, she's like a villain in the game in other paths. I don't think so, but people think so, so you might as well put that there. She should have Raging Storm as her special, which is a like Gale Force skill, but it should just have lower cooldown. I don't even need it to do damage, just low cooldown Gale Force. And she should have something that nullifies effective against armor. And she should have Disencounter. She should have all that. And honestly, that would just be pretty fitting for the character. I don't think that's too ridiculous. Now, Heather. She is my number 1 pick, I think, last year. We got one above her this year. But I really want her still. I want her as a colorless dagger infantry. I don't even really care what her skill does. I don't even remember what I did last year. I just want Heather in the game. She'd have the base lord because Sophie didn't have the base lord, which is the top dagger in the game in Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. She is a canological lesbian. She's the only canological lesbian in the whole series. She's the only character who's explicitly a lesbian and censored-ish in the English version of the release because Nintendo of America sucks. But, you know, I would love to see her in the game. And I think that if she had the base lord, it should just give, be really good. I think it should be good. Maybe like a fire sweep, or like a one-way fire sweep weapon. Like, that would be pretty neat. Yeah, and then the last one. This one, very exciting times. Hegemon Husk Edelgard. You think that I was going to only put one Edelgard? I, much like Fire Emblem Heroes, just wanted to throw out as many Edelgards as possible. But the real reason I put her at number 1 is because I don't think she'll get into the game. And I have a really cool idea of how I want her to play, so I'm going to put her at number 1 because I think she should be a colorless beast armor unit. I think that she should have Hegemon Claw, which should have Wrath on it and give her Vantage when she's transformed. Or it should give her Vantage, and when she's transformed, give her Desperation. She should just be, like, really representing that part of the character. I think that would be so cool. She should have Twin Crests, which is Hegemon's as a skill, which basically just, like, replicates the crest that she has in the game. And just do a lot. It should like, basically give her the Gale Force that she normally gets from her Tempest, and be a damaging Gale Force. I think it should, like, be Gale Force but does damage. And I think that would be pretty fucking cool. And I think that she should have Crest Beast Counter. That's the name that I gave to the skill. And Nullify, effective against effects. Counter attacks regardless of foe's distance. Ignore skills that would stop follow-up. I think that she should be an absolute monster. I'm here to stand Hegemon Husk Edelgard. That's what I'm saying. Make her in the game. Make her annoying as fuck to fight. I want to fight Hegemon Husk Edelgard. I want her to be the best unit in the game. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like, comment. Go on to fucking patreon.com/Alexis Sarah to support me if you liked this video. And if you didn't like this video, you can dislike this video because that's still engagement. Thanks. Have a nice day. Hegemon Husk Edelgard for Choose Your Legend 4.